an RV dealer.
As our nation's concern over terrorism grows, by remaining vigilant and reporting suspicious activity, ordinary Americans can do their part to avert terrible events.
An American citizen watching this right now, 3 years and 1 day after 9/11, what should they do?
I always encourage them to call their local law enforcement. I really, in any suspicious activity, they shouldn't be embarrassed to do that.
Citizen vigilance is nothing new. During World War II, a young mother of 3 from Maine rose to the occasion on a dark, snowy night when she saw German spies Eric Gimple and William Colpaw.
I saw 2 men walking toward me on the left-hand side of the road. I was thinking, what are they doing out here walking in this kind of weather?
We went through the woods and then we came to a road, and I had to hold Colpaw. I told him, look, you stay here and act naturally. Otherwise you'll be suspicious.
Mary Forney called the sheriff's office anyway, and her tip led to the arrest of the 2 men who'd come ashore by German U-boat. 2 years earlier, 21-year-old Coast Guardsman John Cullen was on routine patrol in the middle of the night on Long Island when he stumbled on 2 men on a deserted beach.
I called out to him. I said, what are you doing? So the one fella turned around, came toward me, came walking up. So when he spoke in German, I said, oh, this isn't good.
They turned out to be 2 German saboteurs who were planning to blow up strategic targets in the U.S. The FBI acted on Cullen's suspicion and rounded them up. And today, while times have changed, your awareness is still important.
I would submit that most agents will probably be able to differentiate between the average alien and someone fitting the profile of a terrorist.
That's exactly what alert agents did on July 19th, 2004 at the McAllen Miller International Airport in Texas, where they detained this woman who had apparently arrived in Mexico through London carrying a South African passport.
I believe that she was initially stopped because she did not have a U.S. visa. She was carrying a passport that had pages removed from it.
A close inspection of her documents and luggage revealed thousands of dollars in cash and wet clothing, indicating she'd crossed the Rio Grande, blending in with countless others. She has pleaded not guilty and faces trial in October.
So they questioned her further, and she had some pages that she had taken out in order to, and I assume it would be in order to remove entry stamps from other countries that were, probably suspect. It was very good work on the part of the apprehending agent.
Then there's Merchant Marine Captain John Martin, a Florida resident who pilots a Miami tourist boat. In June 2003, one of his passengers didn't seem quite like the average tourist.
Since 9/11, I'm definitely more aware of my surroundings.
This Coast Guard training video features Captain Martin as himself in the account of the incident with the passenger.
Well, the average person will come up to me and say, does Gloria Estefan really live in this house? He was interested in infrastructure, drawbridge mechanisms, how can you get under the bridge. Most people are taking a long establishing shot of MacArthur Causeway Bridge from a distance. He was taking exclusive, dedicated shots of pilings, ladders, how to gain access.
This bizarre exchange prompted the captain to alert the authorities.
I went downstairs in the salon out of earshot, and I called U.S. Coast Guard and Homeland Security. They said, can you slow your tour down? We want to meet you at the dock. I heard that he had been followed back to New York City, and where he had made arrangements to purchase plastic explosives and other biological agents.
Thanks to Captain Martin's shrewd observations, this man, Syed Abdul Malik, a former Afghani cab driver in New York City, is now serving 3 years behind bars. For his efforts, this hero received a commendation from the Coast Guard, the City of Miami, and the Merchant Marine. Don't worry, this is just a drill.
Help her, please!
You're looking at scenes from Top Off 2 in Seattle and Chicago, a congressionally mandated 5-day exercise designed to test our national preparedness in case of a real disaster. Similar smaller-scale operations are taking place around the country. Anniston, Alabama, first responders come face-to-face with pure sarin gas. This is the Center for Domestic Preparedness, a one-of-a-kind federally funded training center where emergency personnel learn how to handle weapons of mass destruction. And in Charleston, South Carolina, War Stories went along as the 4th largest port city in America prepared for a potential terror attack.
Tonight's exercise brings together local, state, federal. You got how many folks you got out here that you're working around?
We estimated it between 600 and 650 people. Almost every local organization is playing in emergency response, and others such as Red Cross, who are supplying food and doing logistics, the city's fire and police department.
Chris Waters is a 24-year veteran of the New York City Fire Department, and he's now Emergency Management Director for Charleston County.
There have been some major exercises, but not on this scale.
On this muggy night where temperatures soared to 95 degrees, first responders from Charleston faced a simulated release of a lethal chemical. Earlier, local volunteers endured hours of makeup, transforming them into victims. It all looked very real. Once the victims were in place, firefighter hazmat material teams were summoned, responding in their Level A total containment suits.
You have a self-contained breathing apparatus with a mask on. You shine a light on that, we are literally blind. If you are behind the person with a light, it looks like you're stepping into a valley with all of the shadows in front of you, so you can't see anything. Picking up a wrench becomes a major problem. You are virtually inside a Ziploc bag. Can't hear very much, can't see very well, can't feel very well.
In groups of 4, the firemen rescued the victims one by one, which isn't always easy. The victims were then decontaminated and passed along to the paramedics to administer primary care.
What is it that you hope that those local and state and federal people take from this exercise?
There are 3 things in every disaster that have shown up in every review: communications, coordination, and cooperation. We get pretty good cooperation. When we have our problems, it's with communications. Can we talk to that many people on different frequencies? Can we talk to the state? We're addressing that.
Are lessons that you guys learn here tonight going to be applicable in other cities and counties?
How is this like New York? It's exactly like New York, just condensing in size. New York has 13,000 firefighters. City of Charleston has 250. Okay? It's just a matter of size.
Just ahead, what can you and your family do to help fight this global war on terror? That's next on War Stories.